Kia ora. Welcome. Thanks for joining me at the Lightroom Forecast. This is the collective reading for this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. We're just about to go through that and come out on the other side. I think things might, lighten up a little bit or start to be a bit easier towards the end of November. It's been an interesting time, and thank you for all your comments. I really appreciate that, and do let me know how you've been experiencing this time, whether it is really in this sort of period between the eclipses or even prior to that, since the beginning of the year, or even going back to a longer referencing the longer cycle of this, which it is quite a long cycle. So thanks for joining me. Let's get these cards out and we'll see. Of course, as I said, very general collective reading, and take what resonates for you and just leave what doesn't. So let's just see. There's a lot of sort of dispersing energy, or dispersive, I guess is a word for this time. Got one card here. We'll just get a few more. We always go through and clarify, and do check out your the astro readings will be up shortly, so check out any title that rings a bell for you or that you're attracted to, your moon, ascendant, Venus and Jupiter as well. But we'll just get these cards out and then we can talk about it. And the light's fading a little bit, so sorry about that. I will need to put my glasses on. Okay, so speaking of sort of fractionated energies, dispersive is the word that keeps, that's dispersive energy. You know, collectively we are all experiencing this time in the way that we do individually, but collectively, which can be many different experiences. But as humans, we all, you know, have similar emotions, experiences, and all of that. Of course, this is a collective reading. We've got the Prince of Swords. This prince actually is in the Thoth deck. Lady Frida Harris, who translated literally this sort of combination of many different esoteric, or you know, the combination of Eastern and Western mysticism within this deck. Lady Frida Harris interpreted this in her art. And the Prince of Swords is a very unfocused individual. There is a purpose to this. At some point, we see what that purpose is. But he is pulled along by these little figures here, which are thought forms that we create individually. They are described as fairies. We've been sort of, we're you know, it's an energy of being taken left, right and centre, but actually not really having a direct focus. And I think this is what we're in actually at the moment, to me, in my mind. So it's kind of interesting. Then we have a beautiful gift. We have a divine gift of the Ace of Cups. It is choice. It is a choice to be able to see these aces when they are accessible to us, when they can be utilized and made into form. that in itself is a choice. With any kind of conflictual point in time, there's always, because the emotions are heightened, there's always the ability to analyze, to intuit, to utilize all your human skills to see, okay, how can I make the best of this? This is what, this is the thing. And we have this gift. It is a gift of love, literally. And the gift of love is literally a choice. So maybe once we step out of that Prince of Swords in this fractionated world that we are in currently, that there's a movement to sort of go, oh, right, yeah, that's right. But I do have a choice. I'm not just a sponge for advertising or media or all of that. I do have a choice here. And the choice, it seems, we do go through and clarify, as I said, is this reciprocal expression in the Two of Cups, which is probably the most harmonious and balanced card here. This traditionally is a choice, the Two of Cups. It is a choice. There's an equality and an equanimity that exists within this card. So, collectively, we have many choices wherever you are at, wherever you are. Certainly in Western countries, of course, you can't generalise. People have a lot of choice. Then we have the Nine of Wands. In the Thoth deck, it's called Strength. There's a very acute tension in this card between the central wand. We know the Eight of Wands is about really fast movement, communication, speed. The Eight of Wands is like the messenger that gets things moving. Well, this isn't happening here. There's a tension that exists. And because of that, the Nine of Wands is starting to become burdensome. It's starting to become like a stuck thing, like a stuck place. We also can see the Wounded Warrior in this card, the default habits that all of us have that we can fall into and choose not, maybe to be so conscious of. But we know we're in this sort of completion zone here. There is a completion, and there's certainly a completion of this series of eclipse in that Taurus Scorpio axis. So we are moving, it might not feel like it at the moment. It might feel a little bit stuck. It might feel like, we're being squished. We're actually feeling that pressure, that tension. But it like anything, it does not last. So let's go through and clarify. And there's some beautiful, in the center of this reading, it's like Ace of Cups, Two of Cups. Honestly, they're probably two of the most glorious states in the deck, Anyway, let's focus here and look at the Prince of Swords. Prince of Swords, method in the madness. There's method in the madness. What do we get? The Two of Cups. There's method in the madness. This is the key to the test. There's a test. And we go back to this idea, this is a collective reading. Look, how much can we really take a huge level of self-responsibility and say, well, I'm not getting sucked into the sort of tensions, or if we're lucky enough not to be able to, we're not in a war zone. If we're not in a war zone or living on the street, we've got somewhere safe and all of that. I think we can afford to be and have an obligation in some ways to be self-responsible and say, well, I'm not going to get sucked into all of this stuff. I mean, really, it's quite chaotic, isn't it, at this current time? The key is balance. It always is. Whatever scenario, situation, whatever, wherever you find yourself, I mean, in whatever situation you find yourself in, we always have these choices. We always have these choices. And it's a combination of doing, even if they're small things in the physical world, like in a practical sense, just the smallest thing. And then we work on we understand our own mind, Anyway, I'm taking too long in this Two of Cups to clarify the Prince of Swords. As I said at the beginning, the Prince of Swords is unfocused for a reason. And whether that reason is in order to understand for that prince, how he got there, she, he, or what that has, because something comes, as I say, from that. And so we see that beautiful Two of Cups coming out again. It is not beyond our reach, this balance, this equanimity. And of course, we're in a cycle. We're nearing the end of this eclipse cycle, and let's have a look at the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups for the collective, please. So we just got to keep going. Knight of Pentacles, manage your mind as much as you can. Take time out. Things don't happen overnight. The Knight of Pentacles is obviously of the realms of this earth, of the physical world, the slow nature, sometimes the fast nature of the way that plant life grows, that, some fledglings are literally 2 weeks in a nest and they're off, Fast and slow, however it goes. This Knight is a consummate manager. We need to manage, take responsibility for ourselves as a singular entity, because we know that if we do, if we can, I feel like sound like I'm preaching something. It's just understand thyself before you start assuming, making assumptions and blasting them out there onto others in your world or onto your environment, Know thyself, because otherwise you just project. So anyway, the Knight of Pentacles, wonderful manager. There's a lot of hard work that's been done already. So let's keep the faith. Whatever that faith is for you, keep it. It's a jewel. It's a really beautiful jewel. We've got the Star, the card of healing, Aquarian card we're coming into next year. With Pluto in Aquarius? For forgive me if I'm wrong. Look, and do tell me of what your experiences have been of late recently, because it's groundbreaking times. So we have the beautiful healing card of the star, if we want to say dreams, wishes coming true. It is a healing card. It's a beautiful card. We're mixing the waters. There's an alchemy involved here. There's elements of myths and myth and legend within the star. But we are stripped back naked. We are clean and clear. I just had this sort of quote, and it is about the star, the tail end of it. But anyway, it might come back to me. And with that, we've got the beautiful Queen of Swords. Let us know our own integrity. It is ours. We don't expect others to share the same beliefs or values or anything, because it just doesn't work like that. It's like the old saying, another saying, make sure your own backyard's sort of tended to before you start judging others. Let us look at the 9 of Wands. I don't know whether this is, maybe for a few, maybe for some out there, on a collective level, it may well, it may well resonate. 9 of Wands, we get another 9. I'm sure you can guess what that one is. 9 of Swords, yeah. So 9 of Wands, if you do watch readings and things on this platform, you would have been familiar with the 9 of Wands. As a wounded warrior, often it is described as that. A habit of being very defensive because of the past, because of wounds, basically, from the past. To clarify that 9, we've got the 9 of Swords. 9s are heading into the end of a cycle, so we understand that. 9 of Swords, again, unfounded fear, nightmares, that kind of thing. It's our fears. It's our fears that continue to allow us to stay in the 9 of Wands to a large degree. And so we understand with the 9 of Swords, certainly when we embody that Queen, because she cuts through, just chop, chop, cuts through, chop, those ropes here. Just to understand our own, what is true for us, and not feel the need to, blast others and judgment and assumptions and all of that, This 9, so the 9 again is at the end of a cycle. But what's interesting with this is we also had the Prince of Swords again, or the Page, I should say. So this Page, the Prince, we began with this kind of unfocused energy in the Thoth deck, because it is unfocused. We are allowing ourselves to move in a very random way for a period of time. We don't understand the purpose of that yet. But this Prince is just so, there is no focus here. And there is a purpose to that, because we must understand that being pulled along by our own created thought forms, which are cultural as much as personal. We need to understand those things in order to understand what it is to be focused. Now, with this page of swords and the Morgan Greer deck, we see this figure, and we can liken the other one to that, the prince, as understanding and experimenting with the dynamics of power and understanding what that is, primarily within ourselves. How do we use our power? Do we use it? We're not superhuman. Sometimes we don't use it very well. We don't fully understand it, and we don't manage it. And sometimes we underestimate it. In this page, this experimental page, is finding out how they use their power, but also how that is seen around in others, how other people use their personal power, how groups use their power, collectives, governments, structures. We understand basically the machinations, or we're beginning to understand it in this particular page of swords. So it's really quite, I would say, quite lovely, because you've got to get right down to the bottom of that mucky barrel in order to come back up. And whatever that is, there's a filtration kind of process that goes on within that movement. And I think, well, I mean, it's pretty kind of self-explanatory, isn't it? That Taurus Scorpio axis, Scorpio's about, purging in order to kind of be revitalized. And Taurus is can be, it's like valuing particular things, having a large level of security around you, and how they work together and how that works together within all of us. So let's get a few Brian Froud cards. Brian Froud, Pixie and Fairy Oracle, which I love these cards, and then we'll get what was I saying? Then we'll get a rock mineral crystal card. And if I haven't said it before, thank you very much for joining me today. All the other astro signs, individual astros, will be up over the next 24 hours. So Brian Froud, just to top it off with a little extra fairy glimmer, a little bit of extra guidance here. We have the Bright Mother. It's a stupendous, beautiful card. And here she is holding that ball, holding that luminary, that moon, you could say in some ways, the new and the full. And she knows when to cut things back. She knows the importance of nurture. Primarily the self. She didn't get to that point, being the bright mother, by not investing in herself in order to be of service to others here. We then have Lease of the Shadows, shining a light for others, but breaking free of addictions, breaking free of habits that don't serve one anymore. It is a card of that. It's a card of the outcast, or the word, outlier. Some of us understand that term in a very personal way. You know what I mean? So this is about shining a light. It's about overcoming addictions. It is about helping others and breaking free so that we get to a point where we can fully express without inverting that into addictive behaviours or whatever it happens to be, or violence or projecting onto others. It's a beautiful card, Lease of the Shadows, in combination with the Bright Mother. And for the third little cherry on top, we've got, not surprisingly, the Death card here. This blue lady, beautiful, beautiful transformation here. We have a resolution and a new beginning from this. So, I mean, how could it not be more glorious than that? Let's get a rock mineral crystal, and we've got the 2 A's today, and often, I'm not sure actually whether I'm saying this right, and I find it very difficult to say Amazonite, that's what it is. Solace, healthy lifestyle, clear communication and balance. Everything about this reading is about balance, is about finding that equilibrium, is about finding that balance collectively, individually. And then we have ametrine. We have an ametrine, spiritual guidance, angelic realms, clear stress, and truths revealed. And I think there will be more truths revealed across the globe, around the globe. Parallel in terms of our own personal insights into our own worlds, into our own lives, into our own selves. Oh, on that note, thanks so much for joining me. Take good care, and please do like, share and subscribe. It really helps this channel to be seen by other people. And I love any comments, like people that have commented the last lot of readings on that solar eclipse. Just thanks so much, and keep them coming. Okay, ka kite, bye.